Just talk like a normal human being. How difficult is it? You would not believe how many times I talk to students. They say, I need to improve my English, I need to improve my pronunciation. They say my level isn't high enough. They say all these words and then they call it fluency, right? They say that their English isn't fluent and they need to be more fluent in English. It is complete crap. So many people come and they say, Chris, help me with my English. And you know what? They already have good English. It's just that they've worked with some kind of teacher or coach. Those are the worst. When somebody calls themselves a language coach, you should just run very fast in the opposite direction. You know, they come to me and they say that somebody told them their pronunciation isn't good enough, their grammar isn't good enough, they don't know enough words. It's complete crap, okay? It's not true at all. They come to me and they say, like, Chris, can you help me with this? Please help me. Because, I mean, they know that I'm pretty good at this thing, right? I've been doing it for 15 years. And, you know, I have all kinds of hundreds and hundreds of testimonials, worked with a lot of different people, and I'm going to give it to them straight, right? I just tell them what it really is. And I hate it when they say that, because a lot of times what it is that the coach that they worked with, the person, the teacher that they worked with, just told them to say a bunch of stuff that nobody really says. It's terrible. They talk like a robot, they talk like a book, you know, they use Duolingo, they talk like a flying owl, like a cartoon character, you know, they don't talk like a human. And so that's like the biggest thing that I can help them with, is just to have them talk like a real human being, like a real person who actually speaks that language, in this case, English. I mean, it's just crazy how many students come to me with this problem. They say it's something else, right? They say that it's fluency or it's pronunciation, but actually what's happening is they worked with some kinds of teachers who just like read some exercises from a book. They're like, okay, give me an example of present simple. Give me an example of past perfect. It's so annoying. Nobody who's a native speaker even thinks about those words. They never say those words. I mean, I live in the United States right here. Like, I'm from the United States. I live here. I talk to people like my neighbors and real people here. Nobody ever says that. And about 90% of the population wouldn't even know what that meant. Like, if I went to my neighbor and I was like, give me an example of past perfect, he'd probably tell me to go screw myself. He'd say, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Nobody says that. And so that's really the biggest problem. Like, if you're watching this video because you're learning English and you want to be more fluent, then what that really means is to be more human. It means to talk like a real person, how a real person talks. It means not to speak like a robot, like a cartoon character on an app, not to speak like a book. You know, you don't have to have perfect grammar. You need to just want to do something in your life. You want to get something done. You want to take action, and you just need to speak in order to do that, right? Like, if you go to a restaurant, you want food. They don't care if you speak with mistakes, right? They don't care if you say the word in a weird way. That's fine. There's a lot of weird people around here. People speak in different ways anyways, right? Like, people in different parts of the country, they speak differently. A lot of times when someone hears you speaking differently, they don't even think that you're from a different country. They just think that you're from a different state, or maybe like another country that's nearby that still speaks English. A lot of times when I'm with my foreign friends and they go somewhere and they speak with an accent, the person who is at the restaurant or wherever we're at, the person doesn't think that they're from a country that doesn't speak English. They start to say, oh, are you from Canada? Because they just think, oh, this person speaks a little different from how you know, a little differently from how we speak here. So probably they're from somewhere else, right? That's what happens all the time. But most importantly, they still think that they're speaking like a human being. When someone doesn't speak like a human, that's when people give them these strange looks and they act like, you know, I don't understand what you're saying. And then it's just terrible, because then people don't want to continue the conversation. And that's what happens when you do what most of these teachers out here teach you to do, okay? They're trying to get you to learn all of these rules and saying that the rules are more important than anything else. What you really need to do is you need to speak like a human being, okay? That's what you really need to do. So if you watch this video to learn how to speak more fluently or whatever, whatever reason you're watching videos on the internet to try to improve your language, which let's be honest, that's already kind of weird, right? Like, how are you gonna be better at speaking the language just by watching a video? That doesn't make sense, does it? For whatever reason that you decided to watch this video today, the main thing that you need to know is that you speak like a human, like a real person, when you speak with other real humans. That's it. Like, the world has told students for so long that you need to learn languages from books, that you need to learn languages by watching movies, that you need to learn languages by sitting in a classroom and repeating what someone says in this artificial situation. It's not real, right? Like, when you're in the classroom, you remember from school, or maybe you went to a language school, or maybe you've been in lessons that are like that too. We're gonna pretend that people really talk like this, but they don't, right? That's the teacher-student dynamic. That's not the way normal conversations happen in real life. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that, but for some reason, they think that that's the real way that people learn a language. It's not. That's why there's this thing called immersion, where people go to other countries and they live there. And when you're in the place, you have to learn how to speak to real human beings. Otherwise, you just don't survive. So that's why it works, right? That's the whole reason why, like, when you're a child and you're growing up and you're learning the language, you just don't get what you want if you don't learn how to speak, right? You start by making noises. You're like, like my daughter, she's 1 year old. That's what she does right now, right? And so she's starting to say some words, and she knows that if she says the word and the person understands her, then she's going to get what she wants. Amazing, right? You should take English lessons with my 1 year old daughter, because speaking with a real human being is way more effective than speaking with a teacher, or God forbid, a coach, language coach, who is going to tell you that you have to follow all of these rules in order for you to speak correctly. What does that even mean? What does it even mean to speak correctly? You're speaking to get a result. Maybe that's a result at work. Maybe that's a result with a friendship or a relationship, right? It doesn't matter, because the person just needs to understand you and you need to understand them. And then that needs to move forward to a result. If you get stuck thinking about what's right and not right, correct and not correct within the language itself, people just don't want to interact with you anymore, okay? That's not how real communication works. Nobody is analyzing your speech. It's to move forward and to come to a result. If you want to practice speaking with real people, I have a program, English Every Day is the name of it, where we actually practice speaking with people. Surprise, actually speaking with real people, real conversations, real topics, things that you would actually talk about in real life. That's how you learn a language. If that's what you want, there's a link under the video, but really just stop thinking that you're gonna learn how to speak like a real human and that real humans are gonna wanna speak with you if you're just learning from books and watching videos and, clicking buttons because an owl is flying on the screen and tells you to do that. That's the worst. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that today, and hopefully you start to speak like a real human. And if you're having trouble with that, just come to where the real humans are already speaking. English Every Day, click the link. I'll see you next time.